Hi, this is Bobby Joshi from Bobby Joshi Photography. Um, I keep getting a lot of messages and emails from most of my friends asking about if I could share a video tutorial about how I process images. Now, the image processing is a multi-step process. It's not easy to show that in like 5 minutes by clicking few mouse buttons here and there. But I wanted to make a small start. And so the first tutorial that I want to talk about is one of the most commonly asked questions to me is how do I get that dark glowing effect on all my images. So I just wanted to talk about that in this video, and then depending on how do you guys like it, you can decide on if we should continue this further or not. So one of the ways of getting that effect is you probably also know about something called the Orton lights. Tony Kuiper has a preset for that if you buy one of his packages, software package, which is available on his site. Or Nick Software has something called Glamour Glow, right? But I'm going to show you the easier way of doing that, the way that I kind of use on my images. And it's very simple. This is also called the leading lights or the bleeding lights. And then what happens in the bleeding lights is your highlights kind of work into the lowlights, and your lowlights flow into your highlights. And so here is an image that was shot in Kerala about 2 years ago. And while I like this, this is already a processed image. This was a raw, and I've already converted a JPEG into this. Maybe at some point in time, if I have time, I'm going to show the entire workflow of how an image is, or how I process my image. But for this tutorial, what I'm going to do is just take 2 or 3 steps in showing you how to get that effect. All right, so what we're going to do is first we're going to do duplicate this background layer. And the way I do it in my Mac is Command J, or in your case, it could be Control J. I think in the Windows, if you're using the Windows Photoshop. And you can see that it creates a layer 1, which is identical to the background layer. So there's no change there. Next, what I'm going to do is go to the filter, go to blur, and use Gaussian blur. Now, the amount of blur you use in your image depends on the pixel size and the image size that you're using. Now, this particular image was shot with the 800. So it is typically about, I would say, about 36 megapixel. I'm not sure if I've cropped it or not. So what I'm going to work for an image size of around 36 megapixel is to probably push this to about, let's say, 40. Right, so this is now at 40, the Gaussian blur. Now, as you can see, it blurs the entire image, which is not what we want. So what I'm going to do is reduce the opacity and bring it to a point where I feel that it's probably okay. Let's keep it at, let's say, a safe 36. Now, if you see this, right, between these two, you've already got a dreamy effect. But it's now, and if you go closer, you will see that what I was telling you about, the highlights splitting into lowlights and the vice versa, right? So you can see it softens the whole image. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with the opacity still at 36%, the next thing I'm going to do is pick up my level brush, level tool, and I'm going to adjust the contrast of this image and make it more punchier or darker, right? So I'm going to go for a strong contrast. So I'm going to push the highlights and lowlights, let's say, to this point. Now, if you look at it, it's added a lot of contrast. Now, there are no thumb rules in how an image should look. This depends completely on one's taste and what one likes. So in this case, this is just a tutorial. I'm not sure if this is what I would go for as a finished image, but for now, I'm going to keep it at this point. And when I blend this two together, so I'm going to do a Control E and I'm going to merge these two cells, I merge those two layers. Here is what I get. All right, now if you see, this is my original image and this is my final image, and I can then further reduce the opacity here to my taste. Let's keep it at 24. There you go. That's typically how you would get a very moody glow to an image, and this could be worked in different images in a different way, and you can play with your opacities and your different levels of the Gaussian blur that you use and even the contrast that you work on. But typically that's how I would work with the autumn lights or the glamour glow. I mean, I wouldn't, if you don't have Nick or if you don't have Tonic Hyper, then this is how you would do it. All right. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think about this, and maybe we should look at posting another video at some time. Sure. Take care. Bye.